today's top stories and the forewarned forecast. This is News 4 at 4.
We begin at 4:30 with a live look at Route 5. Take a look. It's been snowing most of the afternoon, and you can still see some snow on the side of the road there. It could impact your drive home, but Andrew, for the most part, it looks like in that shot at least, like the road is pretty clear, so that's some good news for drivers.
Yeah, so the main roads should be okay, especially the untreated roads, though. We're going to encounter some slippery spots and visibility rapidly changing. Actually, a pretty good clip of snow moving through right now. The good news is it's not going to stick around for long, and it's not really even enough to shovel. Quick look at the 198 around Main Street. You can still see a lot of snow-covered roads out there and some high congestion at times, but looks like things are going okay. 190 at Packard Road. Not too many cars on the roads there, so that's looking pretty good. But we have seen some slowdowns around parts of the 190, the 290. So keep that in mind if you're heading out for the next hour or two. We're going to have some slowdowns for sure. See those darker blues moving through right now, just about to hit the downtown area. That's a clip of some more moderate snow that's going to move through. After that, I do think we'll get a little bit of a break around the metro. Visibility, though, still an issue around a half a mile here in Buffalo, 3/4 of a mile up in Niagara Falls. So that's just going to slow you down even a little bit more. Hour by hour forecast does move that snow out around 6 o'clock, though, at least out of the downtown area and areas northeast of the city. It begins to fall apart later on, closer to 7 or 8 o'clock, and then later on tonight we'll be in the clear. So the snow really not sticking around for too long. Your Friday night plans should be mostly snow-free, but keeping the clouds in place, which is unfortunate because of the nice full moon out there. Not really going to get to see that much. Clouds stick around for Saturday with maybe some patchy drizzle, but we'll have plenty of dry time for the first half of the weekend at least. Evening snow does end in the next couple of hours. Temperatures will be rising overnight, starting off in the 20s, but rising above freezing by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Coming up in my full forecast, we'll look beyond your Saturday to a messy system moving through on Sunday. Tell you all about that and the seasonable winter weather ahead for next week coming up in just a few minutes.
Andrew, thanks. And remember, you can get the latest forecast in the palm of your hand at any time. Just download our Forewarn weather app. It has hourly forecasts you can customize to your neighborhood and our live Forewarn Doppler radar. It is free for your phone or your tablet. Leading your top 4 new information this afternoon on how an inmate died in the Niagara County jail last summer. In a news conference this afternoon, the Niagara County Sheriff announced the medical examiner ruled the death a homicide. DeJohn Hunt II was found dead inside his cell in August. He was accused of sexually assaulting a woman at Niagara County Community College. Sheriff James Boutour says there was an incident more than a week before his death where corrections officers had to use necessary force to restrain him. Medical examiners ruled Hunt's death a homicide, but say he died from a condition called rhabdomyolysis. The sheriff agrees it might be what caused his death, but does not agree it was a homicide.
The rhabdomyolysis cannot be pinpointed by the medical examiner's office to any particular body part or when the onset of the condition may have occurred. Again, it is not alleged that excessive force was used. There were no outward signs of physical injuries to Mr. Hunt's body.
The case is being sent to the district attorney's office. The sheriff's office is also doing an internal investigation. An official autopsy report has not been released. A Buffalo man will spend almost the next 2 decades in prison for trying to shoot a police officer. Andre Fuller pleaded guilty to attempted murder last fall and was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Police chased Fuller after a robbery in June. An officer caught him, but Fuller got a hold of the officer's gun. He put the gun against the officer's chest and pulled the trigger, but the gun did not fire.
This defendant now is going to go away to jail for a long time now for an incident that is, in my opinion, is unconscionable.
By the grace of God, no one was injured, Your Honor. And I think I ask that you don't sentence them in a fashion that if someone was injured.
Fuller's attorney said he had drugs in his system at the time and said his rough childhood was also a factor. Fuller did not speak at today's sentencing. In Washington, another member of the president's cabinet has been sworn in. Tom Price took the oath of office and is the new Secretary of Health and Human Services. The U.S. Senate narrowly confirmed his nomination last night along mostly party lines. Price is an orthopedic surgeon. He's a strong supporter of repealing the Affordable Care Act. President Donald Trump has promised to continue fighting to reinstate his executive order on immigration. Last night, an appeals court in San Francisco ruled against reinstating the so-called travel ban. It would temporarily limit travel to the U.S. from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. Washington and Minnesota sued, saying the ban discriminates against religion and race.
We are a nation of laws. Those laws apply to everybody in our country, and that includes the President of the United States.
The Justice Department says it's now reviewing its options. It has 14 days to ask the court to reconsider or file an emergency appeal with the Supreme Court. The White House says Kellyanne Conway has been spoken to about her so-called free commercial for Ivanka Trump's clothing line. Some legal experts say Conway might have broken the law. Nancy Cordes is in Washington with reaction from Congress members.
I'm not going to comment on that, Martha. I actually had nothing more to say about it.
Nearly 12 hours after her mini infomercial.
Go buy Ivanka's stuff is what I would tell you. I hate shopping. I'm going to go get some on myself today.
Conway went back on Fox, but would only say that the president was standing by her 100%.
In fact, it was a very heartening moment. All I can say to America's women is, at some point in your life, you ought to have a boss who treated me the way that the President of the United States treated me today.
But President Trump, quote, has an inherent conflict of interest since Conway's statements relate to his daughter's private business. That's according to a joint letter from the Republican chairman and top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. They say Conway's comments raised extremely serious concerns, and they urged the Office of Government Ethics to determine the appropriate disciplinary action.
I'm going to give a free commercial here. Go buy it today, everybody. You can find it online.
Conway may just have been following her boss's lead. One day earlier, Mr. Trump called out Nordstrom for dropping his daughter's brand. My daughter Ivanka has been treated so unfairly, he said. But the president is not subject to the same ethics rules as his senior counselor.
This is it's a wonderful line. I own some of it.
Who is now being counseled herself.
She's been counseled on that subject, and that's it.
I would like to know a little bit more about what the counseling was.
Obama official Chris Liu says the rules are very clear. An employee shall not use his public office to endorse any product.
Had this happened under the Obama administration, I'm fairly sure strong action would have been taken, including removing that person from office.
Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In certain disaster relief areas, I know there's been a lot of stuff in Haiti recently. They could use this product as a very cheap way to get clean water.
Researchers at the University of Buffalo have developed a device to clean contaminated water. News 4's Angela Cristoforos shows us how it works. Angela?
Christy, the device made right here in Western New York is made up of inexpensive materials that use solar energy to purify water. The idea could help address drinking water shortages and help places around the world affected by natural disasters.
We know that water quality is one of the most important things to our health. You know, even in the U.S., we still have a lot of water contamination accidents.
Researchers at the University at Buffalo say this device, which they call a solar vapor generator, is able to clean water by using heat from sunlight.
So the basic idea is that if we have white surfaces, they reflect light, and black surfaces absorb light. So when we have this black carbon dyed paper, it absorbs all of that solar light and converts it into heat.
The device uses inexpensive materials like paper, carbon powder, and foam. Here's how it works. The sun evaporates the water, and contaminants are left behind. Once the water vapor cools back to liquid, it's collected in a separate container without the contaminants. UB researchers say it's an environmentally friendly and efficient way to clean water.
A lot of the methods to clean water now, they use a lot of electrical powers. That costs a lot of money. It's not great for the environment.
UB researchers say the generator could be a low-cost way to help a lot of people in disaster relief areas.
Even right here in America, the Flint, Michigan crisis that was so big, it's still going on, and this could be something that these people could use to purify their dirty water right now.
Now, how much water the device can purify depends on the amount of sunlight or solar energy input. UB researchers are currently working to develop the product into something people can use on a daily basis. Live in the studio, Angela Cristoforos, News 4 at 4.
Next, a News 4 drop in life expectancy. Researchers say two factors could be causing us to die earlier. How long it's been since the life expectancy has dropped. Plus, an emotional struggle. A man is fighting for custody of a daughter he's never met. She was adopted just after she was born. Why a court ruled her adoption was not valid.
And snow making a messy evening commute out there to start off your weekend. I'm tracking the end of that snow tonight and what the weekend itself has in store in your forward forecast.